human resource development discussion, conversation session. My name is David Huang. I'm an associate professor in the concentration of human resource development in the Department of Education Policy, Organization and Leadership at University of Illinois. Just in case you're not familiar who we are, we're very happy to have two wonderful alums from the concentration of human resource development to talk about actually anything they would like to share with us would be great, with some emphasis on professional engagement, careers, aspects in terms of human resource development. First, we have Ms. Tereza Flores, who received the Master Class Certificate in summer 2019. Tereza is an alum of MTC. She is now in our Master of Education program in the HRD concentration. Then we also have Mr. Anthony Williams, Tony. I didn't realize that Tony graduated in 2017. For some reason, I thought he graduated later, but I think that's the lesson I learned today. Tony graduated from our EDM program in the concentration of HRD in 2017. We're going to start the session. First, introduction of the panelists. Then, actually, this is a very generic structure. Then I would like to invite both Tereza and Tony to talk about their current professional engagement role in the workplace, motivations for them to continuously participate in professional engagement related to or oftentimes beyond HRD. And the third item, I have an option for our panelists to choose from: future aspirations and or words of wisdom like to share with the attendees this evening, Central Time. We are all from different time zones, I understand. And again, thank you for being here, Tereza and Tony. Without further ado, I'd like to open the floor to our panelists. And who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Thank you, Tony.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Anthony Williams. I'm a retired Navy veteran of 29 years in the military. I served in the capacity of a security officer, also served as legal officer and administrative officer. While I was active duty, I was pursuing my master's degree in human resource development. Well, that was pretty much like I was on my last leg, and I decided to broaden my horizons in the human resource aspect, because that's what I've been doing for the past 29 plus years. So it allows me more resources and also knowledge, give me a knowledge base when entering the civilian sector. I currently live in Texas. I work for Texas Veterans Commission, Education Department, and I serve in the capacity of a state approving agent, a state approving authority for the Department of Veterans Affairs and the Veterans Education Benefits. My routine performance is I basically consult consulting services and technical assist to institutions of higher learning, such as the University of Illinois, because they do have a state approving agent that state approving authority for approving educational benefits for Illinois residents. And also, I'm from Chicago, so I received the Illinois Veterans Grant, so that's pretty much paid for my education. So I really had to come out of pocket for anything. So that's just I just want to throw that out there too. I also serve as a technical assistant for program staff, governmental agencies, community organizations, and public. And I basically perform VA compliance and risk-based surveys and site visits, and program approvals, such as when the institution submit applications for educational programs that needs to be approved for veterans and family members, we approve that for the state of Texas. And Illinois has SAAs as well, state approving agents as well. What motivates me the most in my current role is helping veterans and service members achieve their goals as far as education. Also helping their family members, helping them, assisting them with the GI Bill benefits, what sort of benefits is entitled to them. I provide a service such as that, giving them recommendations, what institutions to attend, whether it's they looking for on-the-job training, apprenticeship training. I provide some sort of information resources to them for that. I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm always on LinkedIn, putting out information to service members and veterans who are seeking assistance, trying to, right now with the pandemic and service members are losing their jobs, veterans are losing their jobs, and they're looking to broaden the horizon by broadening the education, looking for more education, IT, or things of that nature. So I try to help them out as possible with that. My future aspirations, hey, I'm already retired. This job here is actually satisfy my hunger to help service members when they depart the path, and also provides them the resources and assistance that they seeking. If I can do that and I get a person that succeeds, right, that's a good day for me. Doing things like that is helping veterans and homeless veterans. I do that too. You know, we provide homeless veterans with resources. That's a big thing. That is actually one of the major problems that we have is homeless veterans. As you know, that the ones that's homeless is our Vietnam veterans. There's a significant amount of homeless veterans out there. You probably don't know, but hey, it is. And this, I go out there and I pretty much try to assist them with the resource and point them in the right direction. Trying to give them VA services, pension plans, or if they're eligible for pensions and things of that nature. Other than that, that's all I can tell you about me.
Thank you, Tony. Any words of wisdom at this point?
The words of wisdom. Before I joined the military, right? I'm gonna just tell you this. Coming out of Chicago, I went from playing collegiate basketball and things didn't work out for me. So I wound up joining the military, which pretty much put me on the right path. They gave me discipline, because when I was in college, I wasn't doing really nothing. I was partying, doing some crazy stuff when I was in college. I mean, literally crazy stuff. And I just needed some sort of structure. So the military was structure for me. And I finally achieved something. And as far as finishing up my degree, I wanted to get my bachelor's from Southern Illinois out of Carbondale. And then I wanted to get my master's from U of I. If you're planning on, when you receive that degree, right, it's basically like a stepping stone to anything that you do. Some of you probably already have management supervisory roles. Some of you probably already directors, but you need information, you need resources to help you out and to move forward and try to help others as far as performance, mentoring, consulting, things of that nature. That degree that you will receive, which I actually put this degree to work by train help state approving agents and school certifying officials with training. I go out, put up curriculums together, and there's a course that I took that was really helpful. And I tell you, it gave me something. I found myself going right back to the material that I learned. And I said, hey, that right there, I said, man, this is right on time for me. But if I tell you, if you want, you got to take the initiative to make the degree work for you. If you just dare just say, I'm just going to get a degree, hey, and you don't make it work for you, it's just not. They're just the words of wisdom from me.
Thank you very much, Tony. Very insightful. And we have a Q&A session later, and I'm sure there will be questions coming from our participants. All right, now let's shift to Tereza.
All right, hi everybody. My name is Tereza. I'm very happy to be here to, shine more light on HRD and kind of answer any questions that you guys may have on this field. So just to start who I am currently an instructional designer at Mass General Hospital. Prior to this role, I studied adult education at UPenn Medicine. And from that experience, I really, learned the role of instructional design through self-research, self-taught research, and I guess that kind of completely switched my career path from biology, because I studied biology for undergrad, completely different from instructional design or HRD. So through my experience at UPenn Medicine, I was able to, gain a deeper understanding of the kind of impact that I could have for organizations. So after my experience at UPenn Medicine, I came back to Boston and started working as a revenue cycle trainer at Tufts Medical Center. Within the HRD department, and then after Tufts Medical Center, I decided to accept a position as an instructional designer at MGH, where I developed the curriculum and courses for the scientific research community. And what motivates me the most in my current profession would be, the impact that I am able to make on my organization's overall mission. I'm very happy when learners, give me good feedback on the courses that I develop. Oftentimes I do receive, negative feedback too, but those are obviously used to improve on my courses. Overall being able to, develop programs and courses that would lead to the overall learner satisfaction and learner's outcome is something that motivates me the most, because I have the impact on the audience. So that would be where I am right now. And I actually have 2 more courses left to take before I finish my EPOL HRD program. So I'm very excited to finish that. And, my reason for, continuing, like Dr. Han said in the beginning, I had initially enrolled in a certificate program. And that was because, my knowledge at the time in instructional design and HRD was very limited. Everything that I've known back then was literally what I've taught myself online, on the internet, or in books that I read, or I refer to case studies. So the initiative to enroll in the certificate program was so that I can, acquire new knowledge and skills that I could apply to the work environment at MGH. And my experience through that, tracked was very positive. I was able to actually utilize all the knowledge and skills that I've gained in that program to my work at MGH. and it has created so many positive, I guess, outcomes and impacted not just my performance as an instructional designer at MGH, but the overall, I guess, organizational goal as well. So because of that impact, positive impact and experience, I decided, I want to pursue a degree, a program. I want to acquire even more knowledge than I already have, so that I can, better utilize or help my organization improve on its, I guess, outcomes, and also improve on my skills as an instructional designer. So then I decided to look into the HRD field, which honestly, as I'm speaking right now, Dr. Han, I've taken your 500 level program evaluation course. So I'm actually utilizing the evaluation plan that you've assigned us in class. So I'm catching myself reading the book that was assigned as well, and in the assignment that I've submitted. So I've been referring to that assignment to create an evaluation plan for my department. Because right now we're evaluating my department's curriculum, and I guess trying to see whether or not our courses are efficient. And I've been really enjoying the experience of putting to use all the knowledge and skills that I've acquired through this program. It's really rewarding when I see kind of like the fruits of my labor happening before me. So that would be pretty much my, like in terms of motivation, impact is key.
Thank you for your kind word, Teresa, and I hope your evaluation program project will be successful. And don't tell me the outcome. I'm sure it will be nice and impactful.
Oh yeah,
any
of course.
future aspiration and anything else you'd like to share with us?
I guess never stop learning would be some words of wisdom that I would like to share. I mean, within this field, I feel like you're constantly learning. You always have to keep track with all these different methodologies that might come about, or different best practices that you can apply to the field. And for me, enrolling in the certificate program, and then following that program and the successful completion of that program, enrolling in the EPOL HRD program was pretty much my next key decision that would help me be successful as an instructional designer to this field. And don't be afraid to leverage technology too. I guess when it comes to like HRD, technology does play a big role in how you can improve, like, for example, learner satisfaction, or improve your courses or overall learners' experience on these courses. It's also, and don't be afraid to, I guess, build relationships with these different people in your lives. And by people, I mean, like, within this field, you're gonna have to get comfortable meeting a bunch of different stakeholders or subject matter experts in all these different departments. Being able to build a trusted relationship with them will also help you, I guess, perform better in terms of accomplishing the goal that you set forth in whatever task you are accomplishing. That would be some words of wisdom.
Great, thank you again for your insights. This session is for our wonderful alum share their perspectives, their experience, and I think it's equally important for our participants in terms of questions, or I think mostly Q&A will be the primary part of this session. So I like to open the floor to all the attendees. Any questions you like to ask both of our alums? at this point regarding professional engagement, career development, even lifelong learning aspect in the context of HRD. So feel free to use the microphone. This session is for you guys.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good afternoon. Let me turn on my video here. Thank you for opening the floor. I appreciate both of the panelists and their introductions. I'm interested in the HRD program at Illinois University, and I'm wondering if transfer credit is something that Illinois University would consider, specifically speaking about a master's degree in the field. And if so, how much of that transfer credit can be used to substitute requirements in the program, HRD program at Illinois?
This sounds like my question, so I'll respond very quickly. Thank you for your interest in the UI HRD program for the Masters of Education, correct?
Sorry, it would be the doctorate.
Doctorate, okay. Then you're transferring credits from your current or prior institution?
Correct. It's a master's level. Sorry, it's a master's level program in adult education and performance improvement.
Okay. Procedure-wise, I can share with you because the actual review of the transferability depends on the HRD faculty. So doctoral students, we review applications the same as we are reviewing on-campus PhD applications. So EDD, PhD, we have the same faculty reviewing applications, same admission criteria. So the whole 9 yards, we keep the same. The university mandates that the credit transfer process can begin after 1 year of coursework upon admission. So that's the first thing you need to keep in mind. Second, I believe students can transfer up to 12 credit hours. Again, then the faculty, your advisor, if admitted, will ask you to submit the course syllabi intended for the credit transfer. And usually advisor could make those decisions and they will make recommendation to the department and therefore graduate college and the campus. And our EDD program, I'm sure you probably have read somewhere, requires at least 64 hours of coursework beyond your master's level credential. So that's a brief answer. The general answer is yes, and there is a timeline and there is a ceiling for the total amount of transferable credits. Does that help? Good.
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions? Feel free, don't be shy.
David,
Brandon.
Yes, okay, you saw it.
Any consultation experience beyond their regular professional role? If so, how would you recommend someone break into the type of work?
I got this, Dr. H.
Thanks, Tony.
Okay, Brandon, I honestly, to tell you the truth, I've never actually done any sort of consulting outside my normal job, but I know individuals that I have networked with at various various meetings. There was consulting, some veterans that was into the consulting fields, and actually I can connect you with that if you just send me some email background, I can probably get you in contact with someone that can pretty much connect you on how to get engaged with that. Okay. I think, like I said before, I'm on LinkedIn, so you can actually inbox me and I'll send you that info.
Thank you, Tony. Teresa, go ahead.
Yes, so I've personally have made many attempts and effort to like, I guess, land a consultant opportunity outside from my regular job. And, you know, I'm sure you've heard of all these like freelance websites like Upwork. There's also one for instructional design or HRD in particular. I don't have it on the top of my head, but I'm more than happy to kind of dig through that through my emails, kind of send that to the class or Dr. Han, so you can distribute to the participants later. But I feel like from my experience in trying to, I guess, land a consultant opportunity, that's dependent on a strong like work sample that you have, kind of like a strong portfolio, because a lot of, I guess, these employers who are looking for consultants, they want to be able to see, you know, what kind of like work that you do and whether or not the work that you've done towards this field have been successful, or if you know it leads to like good changes. So that would be my advice, would be to prepare like a strong portfolio of work that you can showcase to these employers, or you know, and analyze and I guess what they're looking for in the job description, because oftentimes they will tell you exactly what they want you to do, and be able to like answer all of their points and like show direct examples, work samples that you have for them. That would definitely help in I guess in whether or not you're able to land an opportunity. For me personally, I've made attempts, I have applied, but you know, it's from my experience, they're kind of competitive because you are competing with a bunch of other applicants, and you know, everyone out there, they're incredibly knowledgeable in what they do. I guess being able to like stand out and, you know, first come, first serve would definitely help in your favor. So I guess definitely look online for all these different freelance websites, and they're majority of them are free too, so you can definitely create a free account and kind of browse through the list of offers or opportunities that you want to apply in, or just anything that you have experience in, you can definitely apply. That would be like my, I guess, my word of advice for you.
Thank you, Teresa. I want to add a little bit, because consultation or consulting as a professional engagement is broadly defined in the workplace. And they are bigger organizations, business, they have internal consultation services. So those individuals will move around among business units, solving problems from an internal perspective. They are then also external consultants from big firms, McKinsey's company, Deloitte, Ernst & Young, those big players, at least in the North American market, they are known for their consultants' expertise in solving organizational problems with a fee, of course. I consult with National Science Foundation because my expertise from my research. I also consulted with IT companies, State Farm for one. They're nearby. We're about 45 minutes drive from Champaign to Bloomington, Illinois. So what I'm trying to say is, I want to relate to both Tony's and Teresa's points. Networking is very important. Linking is a very, very powerful tool. Second, you need to have a portfolio of your skill set. In the instructional design, profession, it's very common to have that as a tool to appeal to a potential clients from the perspective of consultation. For me, consultants for big companies, right? It's a choice of lifestyle as well. And you need to travel a lot. Right now, nobody's traveling, but once everything gets to normal, hopefully sooner or later, then the traveling part of the lifestyle is very important for consultants who are trying to build their reputations out there. Usually, I can only speak from the perspective of HRD, is that, so for example, instructional designer, internal to certain organizations, and after a while, some people would like to open their own shops, right? Small business, freelancing instructional designers actually is a very, very common way of building professional reputations, building your brands, building your networks. This is what it's all about in terms of career development. Then maybe after a couple more years, your network has been accumulated to some level, then you can and hope, and perhaps you have a little bit of asset at your disposal, then you can expand your operations. I have seen, mostly from my students, I want to be clear, this is not my personal experience. They will go to the instructional designer route and open their own shop, freelancing for a while, and a couple years later, they will go back to a different organization because now they have the experience, they have the network, they are ready to move into more managerial roles. I have also seen people moving into the VP positions in terms of professional engagement. But I believe in the concentration HRD, consultation is, or consulting is actually a relatively more common professional pathway than other disciplines. So that's my response to Brandon, your question. I want to circle back to Sarah's question regarding the EDD, the average course size. That depends, because we have required, for instance, introductory research methodology course that everybody takes, everybody must take. I believe the course is EPOL 550, Introduction to Educational Inquiry for EDD students. We also have highly specialized courses in HRD, for instance, learning on the job, workplace learning, strategic HRD. So usually the pattern is if you're taking courses that everybody needs to take within the EPOL department, we have 9 concentrations. We have a couple hundreds of online EDD students from all those concentrations, then that class size would be big. But once you're moving into a more specialized concentration-specific courses in HRD, then you get to interact more intimately with your faculty and your peer students. For me, regardless of the size of the course, I teach big and small. I make an effort to maintain that close contact between students in terms of team assignment. Some students really hate them, but you know, it's real life. If you're in the workplace, that's how things get done. We also have the weekly synchronous sessions that at least 2 hours a week, students get to interact synchronously with their peers, also with the faculty. I don't know if that answers your question, Sarah.
It does. Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, let's see. What did I miss? So professional organizations I was wondering if there's anything our panelists would like to chime in. ATD is a good starting point. There are so many to choose from. ISPI, for those who are into consulting, that's where you should go. International Society for Performance Improvement. Tony?
Oh man. Okay. That's like the number one right now is the instructional design. I know that. And consulting, because I dealt with a lot of guys when I network with different agencies and organizations and some of our stakeholders. We have organizations like Combined Arms. They do a lot of consulting. That's like a number one thing. Because for the simple fact, because a lot of the military veterans and service members, they get into the consulting piece of it. Like a lot of them go to Booz Allen. You know, that's like one of the big consulting farms up in the DC area or Norfolk area. Okay, because I nearly wind up going to Booz Allen, working for Booz Allen, staying in Norfolk, Virginia. So I nearly had a job there. So, but that's one of the big ones is consulting.
I'm tracing back to the questions. Solomon, you're in. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just trying to help you, David. There's a question from Solomon, which I think is a David question.
Solomon, the answer is yes. You definitely should go with HRD if you're interested in the doctoral degree program, especially you are interested in consulting and adult education, lifelong learning. HRD defines learning and performance very broadly. I think probably that's what makes HRD very unique in the Department of EPOL. We look at lifelong learning process in the context of adult education. Career development, believe it or not, is a major component of adult education, adult learning, because we only spend 1/3 of our lifetime in formal schooling. The rest of the 67% is all about informal learning. And lifelong learning is a huge part, as Tereza just mentioned. Keep learning, keep growing, and in the profession of HRD, that's a very important skill set to have. So the answer is yes. Definitely move to HRD. Heather, the question is, yes, we welcome non-degree seeking students taking our courses. You can register through CITL for a fee. You can transfer up to 12 credit hours from non-degree coursework. Usually that's 3 courses to degree seeking program upon admission. And we have quite a few students doing that every semester. Eric, what are the backgrounds of the online EdD students? Are they mostly undergrad, master's in education? Eric, the answer is no, at least for HRD. We have students coming from all areas of professional engagement. So Tony, our one of the panelists, coming from the military background. By the way, we are ranked #1 this year as the provider of online education for our veterans. So we have been doing this for a while. We also have students with similar background as Tereza has, not an education major in undergrad, but now she is in the field of HRD, which we deal with training and development. So that's a major consulting area. Organization development is our second area, AKA change management. That's even bigger consulting context. The third is career development, career coaching, in the workplace, internally as well as externally. So this is what HRD graduates in terms of skill set and knowledge base they are able to acquire after finishing our non-degree as well as degree seeking coursework. Zuri, what path would you take to obtain employment post your EDM without having specific work experience in the HRD field? I would like to open this up to our panelists, if possible.
So to answer that question, I want to say it's necessarily very challenging or difficult to gain employment in the HRD field. Like for example, I did not even have any like professional education experience in this field prior to landing my first role as a trainer at Tufts Medical Center. So in that role, it was very unique because, you know, I was going around different departments to kind of understand why there was like an overall loss of revenue to the department. So my main role was to kind of investigate that situation, to identify, I guess, issues at the organizational level and how we can address those issues to correct the loss in revenue. So I guess I came into that position with no prior professional education background, aside from the experience that I've acquired through my undergrad research at UPenn Medicine on using adaptive e-learning to improve education for adult learners. So I was in that research program for 2 years, and I came out of that that program with a peer-reviewed, I guess, study on it, in which I was kind of using and submitting as like a work sample as I was applying for these different opportunities within the field. And, you know, it wasn't too difficult because I feel like if you take the initiative to really learn yourself and research the field, and you are knowledgeable in that kind of area, you know, applying for these different opportunities and letting, you know, the employer know how passionate you are in adult education or in HRD, I guess that may be representative in terms of your skill set, as it did with mine. So, and then shortly after, I guess, my experience at Tufts Medical Center as a trainer, it wasn't too difficult for me to transition from that position to my current position as an instructional designer at MGH. And again, I also at the time still lack professional education within this field. It wasn't until I was 2 years into my current role at MGH where I decided to, I guess, take the instructional design master track certificate program. And then upon completion, I decided to pursue further education to get my master's in EPOL HRD program. In terms of experience in getting these job opportunities, I personally did not find them too difficult or challenging. So I would definitely encourage you not to be too afraid to apply anyway. Take a stab at it. You know, like we've all been saying, you know, we're all lifelong learners here. So I guess with that wisdom in mind, I would encourage to just apply. Don't be afraid in terms of what you hear that employment is hard, because I personally don't think it's hard. I mean, it might be competitive in that nature, but it's definitely not impossible for you to land an opportunity in this field.
I'm gonna add something to that a little bit. I think that a lot of us, if you employ, right, a lot of us work in the HRD field, and you probably don't even know it, okay? And given the human resource development is, let's say you training, consulting, on-the-job training, things of that nature, right? you're doing it, you're doing it some way, shape, or form. You probably just don't realize it that you're doing it. And the experience with getting a degree and getting more information and on what else that human resource development has, right? That's just another tool that you add into your toolbox, just in case let's say one day you might get into, hey, in the consulting field, your supervisor might have you consulting with someone about something, or you on a consulting team, or you on a project, right? You with a bunch of individuals and y'all on a project, and y'all trying to put this project together, and you got to set it all up, okay? That's part of HRD. Project management, all those little things, everything, okay? I'm gonna use Texas Veterans Commission. I'm gonna use, within our department, right? We come together to try to make our check sheets better when actually putting program applications for schools. So what we do, we meet, we brainstorm, we do a whole bunch of, we consult each other about, say, hey, that doesn't work. Hey, let's go out here and we will see what that school certified official like to have in the application. Okay, little things like that. We're like with Teresa, she what, instructional design. She probably didn't know none of that stuff, but all of a sudden she got thrown and said, hey, I want you to get into instructional design. They probably just threw her in the fire and she's like, oh, holy crap. And next thing you know, it caught her interest. And then she wants to get more involved with it. It's all about the initiative of how you attack it. And then the degree is basically a resource or information that that's helping you and providing you to be successful in a certain position. Did I kind of hit that on target, I guess? I'm all over the place, okay? Did I answer that question for you?
I think you answered the question. Great, Tony. Just to add on to that, I completely agree with you. You don't necessarily need, the experience in HRD. Like you said earlier, project management would be considered a part of that. And I guess what really helped me land, my current role here would be my experience in project management, right? Or even my willingness to learn new technology, or just my willingness to do, self-study on this field. I guess over time, the experiences that you have, it doesn't matter what position you're currently in. I guess those experiences all equally contribute to, I guess, your future role as an instructional designer or whatever that may be in HRD. So I really like what you said there in terms of utilizing your past experience in other fields to contribute to this position.
Thank you both, Tony and Teresa. Those are great insights. And if I may add a little bit, perhaps based on what I've seen students doing coming out of HRD program. I think Tony referred to that earlier in his introduction and description of professional engagement. I think he used the word discipline. On the Bauer Lab, if that's okay, Tony. Career-related development, if you look at the long term, habits are very important. HRD program, the coursework, to some extent, we can help students identify habits that will be beneficial for their long-term career-related decision-making processes. But I think individually, for individuals like all of us here, career development is an ongoing process. It's a lifelong process. Teresa mentioned that you need to keep doing things. Tony mentioned that networking, keep getting to try new things. Those are all very important for building your professional, I would say, reputation out there, right? Reputation, people heard about the work you do. People who have worked with you will know how you solve problems and how you interact with colleagues and clients, right? Those are all very important building blocks for a long-lasting career fulfillment. I don't like to use the word success because everybody defines success very differently. But from both Tereza and Tony, impact seems to be something they are very proud of creating upon graduating from our EDM program, also from our MTC program, continuing on with further training. So creating impact, right? So that's the question on the slide. What's the motivation? And I'm very elated to hear both of them being able to create impact to other individuals, other organizations. I think that's a very important drive of career development. So habits, right? What are the good habits? Keep networking, keep building your reputations, keep doing good work, keep reaching out, mentoring others, helping others. Those are all good habits when it comes to long-term sustainable career development. And again, HRD, actually, we research that part. By research, somewhat and oftentimes very dry, right? It's not practical. But in this context, I think we can learn some lessons from the research aspect of the career development. It's a complex decision. It's an ongoing process. We all need to stay mentally, physically healthy in order to carry out sustainable career-related activities. So those are common sense, right? But from time to time, we need to remind ourselves. Am I missing any question? Marlon had a question about the enrollment cap in our EDD. The answer is no, we don't have a number. So feel free to contact me. That goes to everybody who are interested in our programs. That's my email address. The best way to connect with me. Angela, HR component can be added to the diversity and equity doctorate program. That's very specific. I can guess what kind of program you're in right now. I'd like to open this up for our panelists. Perhaps they have some insight, but let me try to respond to that question first, and feel free to jump in, Tony and Tereza. HRD is broadly defined across context. The way I see HRD is about improving the interactions between people and their work through training and development, improving the relationship between work and the organization. That's about change management. That's about organization development. What else do I? Oh, and the third component is between the interaction between people and organizations, right? That could be career development. That could be lifelong learning. That also could be change management. So those are moving parts. So I will argue that HR or HRD, we are not HR. We don't deal with benefits. We don't deal with compensations. We don't deal with recruitment. Although our alums, once they graduate from HRD, they are very capable of meeting and exceeding the expectation of those professional roles. So HRD, the coursework, there's a tremendous amount of transferable skills that can be applied from context to context and places to places, industries to industry. Going back to your question, Angela, so HRD is about growing individuals, about developing organizations, and crafting opportunities for lifelong learning. So if you consider HRD from those perspectives, I would say we can contribute to diversity, equity aspects of research and practice. All workplaces should have, in my opinion, diversity and equity and inclusivity policies. I think that's a must. So that's a role that HRD alone definitely can play. Tony?
I think that's the difference between HRM, which is human resource management, and then you have HRD, right? So with HRD, human resource development is something within, you can do that within your department or basically within a department. When you're developing your colleagues and certain things as far as training, trying to also connect each other on certain things as professional development, mentoring each other, things of that nature. Okay. When you talk about human resource management, that's when you get into benefits. When you got a whole big broad, then when the whole organization and the human resource management is taking care of everybody. Am I correct to say that, Dr. H? All right. So that's the big thing. Diversity, ethics, all that falls under human resource management. Then you have human resource development, as I was saying before, that's within a department or a division, where they work with each other trying to make the organization better. So I want to hold training in a department, but I want to make sure that, hey, we're trying to help the organization in a whole to make them better within our department. That's all I can add on that one.
Let me piggyback on that. So HRD within the department with the division, we definitely can provide training and development opportunities for diversity and equity related purposes. That's quite common in many workplaces. We can also facilitate from the perspective of organization development. We can try to change workplaces, organizations to be more effective in promoting diversity, equity related organization activities. So those are things we can do very effectively as HRD professionals. I think if you're doing a doctorate as HRD advanced practitioners or researchers. So that's my response. I want to be sensitive of time. Any questions that you would like to ask our panelists before we end the session? If you have further questions in the future, please feel free to share those with me. You have my email. I can type it down again. And feel free to share those questions with me, and I'll be more than happy to relay them to our panelists. We have 2 minutes left. Final questions? If not, I'd like to thank our panelists who join us tonight out of their very, very busy schedule. Tony, I always appreciate your support. Now I realize why I feel that you're graduating in probably after 2018, because you are always helping us out. So I really appreciate that. Teresa, I want to thank you for sharing your insights. You're a wonderful student coming out of MTC, and I'm sure you'll be successful in our EDM program. If you're considering doctoral programs, we have quite a few to offer, just in case. I want to also thank Sangeeta, our Director of Online Program, to host the event. All right, I want to say good night, good evening, good afternoon, no matter where you are, and stay in touch with us. Thank you.